Hi everyone, and welcome back to Purpose to Love. My name is Randy, and today I just want to have a real quick heart-to-heart with you all, especially those who are professionals within the special needs community. I want to talk to you all about our relationships with our students and the individuals that we serve. I know that, from working from experience, just that I've worked with so many different personalities, diagnosis, abilities, all these different things. And you get used to, that being your life. That's your day-to-day. You're working with an individual every day. So you're not thinking of that person as always having a disability all the time, especially if it's not something more significant or severe, profound disabilities. You don't always think about it. You're just like, oh, this is my job, this is the person I'm working with, and you just keep it moving. But over time, especially if you're working with someone who has challenging maybe behaviors or a challenging personality, and you may not connect well and you're bumping heads a lot, you might start to have the feeling and the thoughts of, I don't like them. You may just be like, I don't like them. And it's okay. I don't think that that's, wrong. I know personally I've had those feelings and thoughts, not all the time and not often by, any means, but, I've come across a couple people that I've worked with and I'm just like, I don't know if I like them, And I think what's important though is to look at the reason why you don't like them. I had to take a step back and say to myself, wait, why don't I like this person? Why is there so much clashing? Why do we have so many challenging moments together? So I just want to talk about that and explore this feeling of why you may not like a particular student or individual that you're working with. So let's get started. Okay, so number one, is it that you really don't like the student or the individual? Or is it that you aren't getting the proper resources and support to give them the proper care and education that they deserve and that they need? I know from personal experience, I have worked with a student and I felt like I wasn't given the proper support or resources to make sure that I could give him proper care. And he had a lot of challenging behaviors, a lot of physically aggressive behaviors, and I was dealing with it on a very consistent basis. And after a while, it really starts to wear on you when you're getting hit and, yelled at and attacked every day. It can be very overwhelming. At first, you're thinking, okay, we can handle this, we can get through it. You put on your cape, and you do what you got to do, but then after a while, it starts to wear on you. And then, I have my own personal life. I have other things on my mind I'm going through, and I'm coming to work and then having to deal with a very hard situation and feeling like, I can't do this. You know what I mean? And it turned from being frustrated with administration, who was supposed to be providing me and our group, our staff, with the proper supports, to now I feel stuck and I have to put that feeling somewhere. And now I'm thinking, I'm just projecting my frustrations and my negative thoughts to this person, this student. And, of course I still maintained a professionalism, but I felt like a lot of times I was very standoffish to that student. I wasn't as engaging in my lovey-dovey self as I might have been with other students. And I started realizing that and recognizing I was different, and I didn't want to show favoritism. I had to recognize that I was not being my best self for this particular student because I was getting frustrated, and I started to think to myself often, like, I don't like him. And I felt bad. I was like, that's not fair. Like, why don't you like him, Randy? And so I really had to actually do some deep work and think about why I didn't like him. And it really didn't come down to me not liking him. I was just frustrated with not getting the proper support, so the resources I needed to make sure that I could, do my job and do it well. For me in this particular case, it's not that I didn't like him. I just was frustrated with not having the resources and supports to give him the care that he deserved. So that's number one. Okay, so number two, the second question you can think about, are you taking their issues personally? I feel like this is for more so those students and individuals who have more challenging behaviors, who have physical aggression, verbal aggression, and it can be really hard sometimes to really manage their behaviors. Are you, when they're in crisis mode, are you taking their issues personally? It's easy to do that, especially because we're human. We are human. Things affect us. Just because we work in this field and we care about them, we love these people, doesn't mean it doesn't affect us. So it can affect you. So when you're dealing with someone who's having these challenging moments in their life, are you taking their issues personally? I remember I worked with a student at the time. I was working more so in mental health, and this was a child who probably was 10, maybe a little younger, but he came from a very traumatic background, a lot of abuse and trauma, and so he would bring that, into the center, and he was, he would kind of play out or project or express the things that were happening to him to other people, especially the adults in his life. And I remember he was so young, and it shocked me at first because this was my intro into this world of mental health and special needs. And it would really shock me, but he just said a whole bunch of stuff to me. I was like every name in the book. He called me a bunch of racial slurs. He called me a bunch of other things that were super inappropriate. And he probably didn't know what most of what he was saying. Well, he didn't probably know what it meant, but he was saying it. And I could have been offended by that, but recognizing like, okay, I'm here for a reason. Obviously he has some challenges, Same with those who have like a lot of physical aggression. I've had a lot of students and individuals who've had a lot of physical aggression, and they respond and they act out due to like limited communication, just in aggression. So they're hitting you, fighting you, whatever. And it took me some time, especially with the physical aggression. I feel like verbally it was a little different. I could, in one ear, out the other. But physically, like you're hitting me, like that hurts, So that it took me some time with that to kind of not take that always so personally. And it's practice, right? It's reminding yourself in the moment, okay, they're acting this way, but that's why they're here and that's why I'm here. So, make sure you're not taking their issues personally. All right, so number 3, what are your triggers? What is something that happened in the past or even in the present this morning that might cause you to have a challenging time interacting with the student or the individual that you're working with, that might cause you to think to yourself, I don't like them. Like, what is it that might have happened in the past that might add to you not liking them? There could just be something in their personality that's reminiscent of someone in your past that could be triggering, So, we have our own triggers too. Like, we know that the individuals and the students that we work with, there's so many different sensory, tactile, different things that might cause them to have triggers, but we also have that too. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that we should pretend like we don't have them. I think we should recognize it and acknowledge that, know what those things are, so that when we're working with the individual, we can come with a more prepared mindset. Okay, this is something that bothers me about them because it reminds me of someone or something that happened before. Okay, that's not them though. This is their own, they have their own separate issue aside from that experience. How can I manage this? Because ultimately, we are the person giving care. We're hopefully someone who is more able to process our feelings, our emotions, and situations. And if you can't personally process that yourself, I think it's really important, if you want to stay within the field, to seek out some professional help. And it doesn't make it a bad thing. You can see a therapist and work with that therapist to help you to work through your emotions of why you feel this way with that individual. Because there could be something behind that, which would possibly allow you to have some of your own personal freedom, moving forward. So think about what your own personal triggers are and how it affects your relationship with the student and the individual. Okay, so last one, number 4. No real question here, but just a simple comment. Maybe you just don't like them. Maybe they just don't like you. and maybe there's no connection, there's no bond, and that's okay. Just because you work in the field doesn't mean that, you know, you're going to have a super deep bond with every single student or individual that you meet, and that's fine. But you are required to, because you're being paid to, care for them, like them, or show them that you like them, you know, treat them fairly, have compassion towards them. You are responsible for those things and those actions. And I think that it's really just a matter of learning how to push away your own feelings and say, okay, I'm not really feeling this person right now, but I got to push that to the side and still engage with them in a professional manner, letting them know that I'm here for them, that I care about them, that I want to see their best, you know, I have their best interests at heart. That's your job, you know, so regardless of how you feel, you got to push that to the side and still attack the day and interact with the individual and the student with compassion, care, and you know, putting their priorities above your own, because that's what you're there to do. That one's not really, you know, too deep, but it's really just the truth. You know, I've had not too many, but like one or two, you know, students or individuals I work with that, you know, I like them enough, you know, they're fine, but I'm not like, I haven't have this like strong bond to them the way I had to another student, you know, where I'm like gushing over this person, but not so much over that one. But I'm still going to make sure that their day is well, that they have quality care, that I'm providing everything that they need, but just recognizing that we're not BFFs, and that's okay. So sometimes it just bees like that. So that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you had an opportunity to kind of rethink why you may not like a particular student or an individual that you're working with. Maybe you're lacking resources and supports. Maybe you're taking something more personally. Maybe it's something from the past that you're triggered by, or maybe you're just not super connected to them or bonded with them. Whatever the case is, I hope this is an opportunity to kind of think about it in a different way. Leave a comment if you have any questions or you just want to share. I would love to hear from you, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and hit the thumbs up button if you really like this video, and I will talk to you next week. Remember, you are purpose to love. Take care. Bye.